What's going on, good people? It's Will. I'm just going to go over how I oil and clean a pistol. I actually did this video last night and deleted the damn thing by mistake when I was trying to edit the video. But either way, so the pistol is actually already clean. I already broke it down. You should know how to break down your pistol. If not, look at your instructions, or you can also YouTube it, depending on what gun you have. There'll probably be several thousand videos on how to break your pistol down, or rifle if you're doing that. So once you have your components taken out as far down as you want to clean, as deep as you want to get, I'm not taking out the striker or anything like that, getting in the channel this time. I'm just going to do a basic cleaning. I've been using this, which I hate, but because I don't clean my guns that often, I only clean them literally every several thousand rounds. This thing is lasting forever. So as soon as it goes away, I'm going to go back to CLP, but that's just my personal preference. I haven't tried a gun oil or a cleaner that doesn't work. So really, whatever you like, whatever fits your budget, go with that. This is a foam, and I'll explain why I don't like that in a second. So what I'll do is, first I'll put some gloves on, because all these chemicals really aren't a good idea to get on your skin. Technically, you shouldn't put anything on your skin or come into contact with anything you can't eat, because your body's going to absorb that. So I try to put some gloves on whenever I'm cleaning. I'm already have enough exposure to lead because I shoot a lot, so I don't need any extra. And then also the solvents and oils and everything else that can also get into your body through your skin. So I'll break my gun down into pieces: trigger bar, the trigger housing, and my locking block, my slide lock or stop, depending on what you want to call it, slide, and my recoil spring and guide rod. That's not captured. And just the grip. So what I'll do is I'll just get the foam everywhere, or CLP, whatever I'm using, everywhere on all the parts. One of the reasons why I don't like the foam is that it's really difficult to get it inside the barrel. So once you try to spray it in the barrel, it's just going to clog up on the end. And if you try to do it on the other side, it'll do the same thing. So for that, I prefer something that's going to run a little bit more instead of get caught in one area. But outside of that, it cleans well. So once I get everything covered in my cleaner that I'm using for the day, I'll go at it. I have a brass brush. You can use a toothbrush if you want. I find that the brass brush is a little more sturdy, or it's harder, but it's not so hard it's going to damage steel, since brass is softer than steel. I wouldn't use this on the outside of your slide, but on the inside and everywhere else, it's good to go. So I'll just give everything a good brush, depending on where I want to go. Same thing down inside the mag well. Literally brush everything off, all the parts on the outside, give them a good brush. My recoil spring, I really don't do anything to. If you want, you can wipe it down. Do not oil it. Don't oil this or your mags or your mag well. But I'll go into that in a minute. But if you want, you can wipe it down. I don't do anything to it. It doesn't affect how the gun runs at all. As long as you don't have any grime in there that's binding it up to the point where the spring can't compress, then you're fine. You can just wipe it down, no matter what kind of recoil spring that your gun has. So same thing with the slide. I'll just go brush, look for any areas where I have a lot of buildup, whether it's carbon or lead or whatever it is. Just brush, and then get that done. Once I'm done, I'll take a microfiber cloth, but you can use a t-shirt, paper towel, doesn't make a difference, and just wipe all of the excess off. And then from there, you're pretty much clean. Some of the areas that I pay attention to with the barrel, the inside, there's a few ways you can go with that. Most pistols will come with some tools, like my Glocks come with this rod here. With this rod, you can do a couple of things. And let me see if I can get that in focus. All right, you see that gap right here? We can see my finger through it. You can actually put either some patches that you can buy, or if you don't want to waste your money on patches, you can take a paper towel, rip it up, and it'll work the same. Same thing with an old t-shirt, you can do that. And you can use that to both clean inside your bore, and then also if you want to take a patch and put a little oil on it after it's clean and just run that down there 1 or 2 times. Just a little bit, you don't need a lot. You can do that as well. Also on the end of it, it's threaded. So you can actually take an attachment like this, which I never use. You can see how clean it is. And this will actually thread on here. And then you can use that to clean inside your barrel as well. What I do, which I think is 1,000 times better, is I have a bore snake. So with a bore snake, They come in different calibers. This one is for 357, 9 mil, 380, and 38. A bore snake is going to take care of that for you a lot faster. And there's some people that say you should only run something in your barrel in one direction. So the bore snake kind of takes care of that. So what it is basically is a cord, and there's some like woven cord. This is like a cloth material. But then right here, again, I'm trying to get the camera to focus, aka my phone. You can see, I don't know if you can see those raised edges or not, but that's actually a brush. So there's a metal brush that's on here. So what you'll do is you'll take, there's an end that has a little brass piece here, and that just gives it some weight so that you can take your barrel, put it inside, and it'll just fall right through. Right from there, you just pull, you'll pull it through. Usually when you do that once, your barrel is clean. I do it 3 times just because I'm a little crazy. So I'll hit it 3 times, and then what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of oil and I'll put it in the barrel and run it through one more time, and I'll show you that in a minute. As far as the rails, this is where I really like the small end of the brass brush because that really fits inside the rails really well. If you don't have it, your toothbrush or whatever is going to work just fine. It's not going to be horrible. If you have anything that's like really caked on, they do have picks that you can use like this. So, and they have different ends and different ones. You can kind of get into some of the smaller crevices and things like that if you have any buildup, if it's been a minute since you cleaned your gun, or you just got it really dirty because you were running your gun really hard or dropped it in the mud or whatever. I know I have everything everywhere, so my apologies. Believe it or not, I got a system going. All right, so we have our gun apart. We go ahead and clean it. So now we need to oil, right? So where are we going to oil? With a Glock in particular, and I know a lot of the guns that are similar to Glocks will probably be really the same way. There's a few ways you can go at it. One way to remember as far as oil is concerned, all right, is going to be, get my pieces here, make sure I'm all straight. Okay. All right, so it's going to be 3, 2, 1, or 1, 2, 3. All right, so 1 on your grip, 2 on your barrel, and then 3 in your slide. Okay, so I put the trigger housing back in the gun. So in this area where your 1 is going to be, your 1 drop is going to go here. Again, let me see if I can focus. See this metal piece right here? This little piece sticking up? That's the hook. So that's part of your, where your connector is. You want to put 1 drop of oil right under that. Now what I use to put my oil on is I bought on Amazon just an oil pen kind of applicator. It's a syringe style. So you put this top will screw off. You can put your oil inside, and then you can literally just put 1 drop at a time as opposed to kind of pouring it from a larger container. This helps really keep the oil under control because you don't need a lot on a gun. All right, so I put that 1 drop under there. So there's our 1. So then we have 2 on the barrel, right? So on the barrel, I'm going to put 1 just on the outside of the barrel here. This is where it's going to ride inside of the slide. So there's going to be some wear here. It's a pretty new barrel, so there's not a lot, but you can see some. So you're going to just put a drop there, and I just smooth it around. I put another drop in the lug here. Turn that, so I'll put it right inside there. So there's our 2, right? 1 in the lug, 1 on the barrel itself, and then 3 on the actual slide itself. So the first drop goes inside the slide, and you can see this rectangle here where there's a lot of wear. That's from where the barrel, when the slide moves back, barrel will go with it for a fraction of an inch, and then the slide will continue to move. The barrel will stop, and then at that point it's going to rub on the inside of the frame or inside of the slide. So I'll put a drop there and just move that around. You can see it's kind of shiny because there's some oil there already. And then you can put 1 drop on the slide in the rail on one side, and then 1 drop on the other rail. What I'll do, actually, I'll put another drop down at the bottom part too. But that's just me. Technically, you don't have to do that. But I know with me, I'll run several thousand rounds. I don't clean my guns that often. I kind of treat them pretty bad. So depending on how well you take care of your gun, you might want to add a little more or a little less. Or depending if you're running a 1911 or something like that, really tight tolerances, it might be a little different. But that is exactly what I do. Oil-wise, what I'm using is this. Yep. So your car is going to see a lot higher temperatures. It's going to see a lot more friction and all that together than your gun is ever going to see. So this hasn't failed me at all. I've been using this for a couple of years now. And cost-wise, it's really inexpensive, and that quarter is going to last you forever. Regular gun oil is pretty much fancy marketing. So, you know, if you love your ABC gun oil, then that's fine. I'm not saying don't use it. I'm just saying that will do the same thing. That drop of oil that we put on the connector, when I'm not feeling lazy, I will actually use grease there. Reason being is that the oil will kind of run, but when you use grease, it actually stays put a little bit better than oil does. And then for that, again, I'll go to local Walmart or Pep Boys or something and grab some high temperature grease, something lithium based. And that's what I'll use there. Again, a can here is going to last you literally forever. You're never going to run out of that. Now, don't forget, again, you don't want to put any oil in the mag well. Same thing on your recoil spring, and the same thing if you decide to clean your magazine. So I have a little tool here. What this does, it just makes it easy to pop off the floor plate and the base plate. So if you were to take your magazine, all you really need is hot soapy water, and then let it dry, let it air dry after you rinse it off, and then you're good to go. You don't need to add any oil. Again, you add oil or grease, it's going to collect dirt and everything else, all kinds of other debris. If you just need a quick cleaning and you're at the range, I have a range brush or a mag brush. It's really good. Actually has a punch on the end of it, and then you can take your magazine down, get that sand and dirt out of there, and then put it back together, and you're back ready to roll. So I keep that in my range bag, especially at matches where the ground is really sandy. So if I drop my mag too many times and it gets all binded up or bound up, I can clean it if need be. So that is pretty much what I do as far as cleaning is concerned. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. I think at the end, I do sometimes drop 1 drop of oil in the barrel and just run that. But outside of that, that is it. If you have any questions, post below.